What is going on, everyone? My name is Jazz, and thanks for entering the Lobby of Hobbies, where today I'm bringing you another Kickstarter preview, this time for a dice chucking real time space skirmish game. This one is Starfighters Rapid Fire from Alley Cat Games, designed by Jordan Nichols and Michael Dunsmore. So if you like just going around, flying in space, and getting ready to just demolish your opponents, this one is one you might want to check out. I want to give a thanks to Alley Cat Games for sending this one over to us. That way you guys can determine whether or not you want to back this one on Kickstarter. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, now Starfighters Rapid Fire is this galactic space dogfight where you take on the role of an expert pilot starfighting ship and you are trying to take out the enemy ships that are there. This is real time, so players are going to all be rolling their dice simultaneously and allocating them to the various spots on their board. Now each player will receive a player board that has various systems on it that they can activate to be able to deal damage to their opponent or place themselves into a different spot onto the enemy, onto the space battleground. Now, there is a centralized board where players are going to be placing their ships at and maneuvering through this battleground to place themselves in position to fire on their opponents or get away from their opponents firing on them. This game plays from 1 to 4 players in roughly 30 minutes. There is a 3-player mode that is a free-for-all battle, and the 4-player mode is a 2 versus 2 battle. But I've only played this game at the 2-player mode in the head-to-head battleground. So in the game, it's broken down into 3 phases each round, starting with the dice rolling phase, where players are going to roll their dice and allocate them to different spots on their board. Now, once a die is placed onto their board, that die cannot be moved to another spot, but that die can be re-rolled. Now, once players have allocated their dice, the first person to hit the red button in the center of the table is going to yell fire, and then players that have not finished rolling are going to stop, and any dice that are still in their hand, they are able to roll and keep any successful results for following the next round. Now, let's talk about the different things that you can activate on your player board. Now, at the top, you have this HUD where players are going to be placing command dice, whether it be from the red weapons dice, they will be placing the command symbol there, whether it be one from the blue operations dice, or from the wild yellow command die. Now, when players place a die in the HUD, they have to be able to spend a die of the correct color to activate one of their systems. So they have to spend a red command die or a yellow command die, because it is a wild color, to be able to activate either the lasers or the torpedoes. Now, when players activate the lasers, they are going to roll any dice, which is up to 3, in their lasers area. Now, any successful rolls that they get, meaning any red symbols that they roll, will deal 1 damage to their opponent. Now, their ship can fire from all directions, but where their opponent takes damage from is going to be where that opponent will receive damage to their shields, and they will lose their shield power. Now, players will be having purple squares around their ship, which will show their shield level on those specific sides. And at any time, if a player receives damage to a side that doesn't have any shield power, they will receive damage to their ship directly. Players only have a maximum of 5 health, and once they are depleted down to 0, they lose. At any time, if a player is depleted down to 2 health, they will lose one of their dice to be able to roll in the following dice rolling phases. Now, in your lasers system, you also have spots to increase the range of your firing, because at the start of the game, you can only shoot at your opponent that is in an adjacent spot from you. The only way to shoot further is to have a die in one of the increase range spots. The other spot you have to allocate a die to in the laser system is your overcharge system. When you have a die here, when you are rolling for your lasers to see if they hit, any dice that rolls in a red command symbol will instead deal 2 damage instead of the 1 to your opponent. So that overcharge is pretty powerful, but how you allocate those dice as well, and whether or not you need to increase your range, are you going to use that yellow command die in your lasers to be able to have more options or more opportunities to roll a command and deal that 2 damage? That's all going to be dependent on how you strategize. Now, you also have your drive system, which is the blue system to the right of your player board. Now, to activate this system, you have to spend either a yellow or blue command die. And when you do, for each die that is in the top space of the drive system, you're able to move your ship forward 1 space. Now, your ship only moves forward. Now, how can you move it left and right? You're in space, you say, right? That is going to be done with the space underneath that, and that is the rotate spot in the drive system. Now, for each die there, you can rotate your ship to the left or the right to be able to fly in different directions. This is also important because it places you in different positions where instead of receiving damage where you have no shields, if you do receive damage, you're now positioned in a place where you have shields to take damage from. Which leads us to our next system, the shield system. Now, in the shield system, when you activate a die, when you activate the system, you have to spend a command die of any color, and you have to spend and have filled all the available shield spots in that system. After each activation, the amount of dice that are needed to activate your shields will increase, but that is further explained in the rulebook. When you activate the shields, you will repair 2 shield spots on your ship. Lastly, you have the torpedo system, and to activate the torpedo system, you must spend either a red or a yellow command die and have 3 weapons dice in that torpedo system. When you place a torpedo out, it goes into the immediate 2 spots to the left or the immediate 2 spots to the right of your ship, and it gets placed face down. Now, that torpedo does not flip over until the start of the next round. But after players go back and forth activating their different systems, starting with the player who entered the activation phase first, each player will activate 1 system at a time. We'll move over into the last phase, which is the torpedo phase. At this time, any torpedoes that are face up are going to move 1 space closer to an enemy ship. Now, if a torpedo ever goes into the same space as an enemy ship, that enemy ship will receive 2 damage, either to the shields that ship was hit on, or directly to the ship to be able to take from their main health. And this is pretty much how the game is going to work. Round by round, players will go through these 3 phases of rolling dice, placing them onto their board, activating the different systems, and then moving torpedoes. Now, there is one neat thing on this board that I wanted to share, and that is these anomalies down here. Now, at any time you move into an anomaly, this takes your ship to the opposite side of the board, because throughout the game you cannot fly out of the battleground, you can say, but this little anomaly, or I like to call it the black hole, will suck you up and take you to the opposite side of the battle arena in space to be able to maybe come from behind and be able to attack on your opponent. So this is pretty much how the game is played. Again, it's a fast-paced, dice-chucking, arena battle, but in space. And if this is one that you think is up your alley, definitely check this one out. I'm going to put the link down to the Kickstarter campaign in the description below so you can check it out. Again, if you like fast-paced, head-to-head battles, skirmish games that play in definitely under an hour, this might be one that you want to check out. So I want to thank you guys for entering while I shared this game with you. Hopefully you discovered something worth checking out. And hey, let me know down in the comments below. What do you think about this game? Is this something you're going to be checking out on Kickstarter? Again, the link's down in the description. But if you like the content you're seeing here, why don't you hit that like button? And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. And then hit that bell icon. That way you can be notified anytime I drop new content. But for so long, I'll see you guys on the next one.